I found this like weird garage full of like a kayak and a bunch of beer on the table and this weird like meth lab set up. What's over here?
Meth lab? How dare you call it?
Oh my goodness, who is this?
Krackhaus Brews. This is where I brew my beer. Gan Bei.
听了太多的 no， 我就喜欢说 yo。年少时为何不轻狂待到老时，机会早已渺茫。年轻时就要逞强，我就要活出个样，我要活出个样，活得像自己想象那样，活出个样，活出个样。What up? What up? 活出个样。What up? What up? 活出个样。What up? What up? 活出个样。What up? What up? And I never went away, fade off into that gray. These fakers got them out like a poker game, never played. Wrong B is still the same, bullshit, different ain't complain. Life's too boring, lifetime slave. I'm an astral life, gonna break fantastical strife. When you take sabbatical from all those days and nights. And I want the fucking
Laowinners here, otherwise known as Sea Milk, and I am here today with a very special guest and a very special host. And he goes by the name, how do you want to be called today, my dear friend?
I'll stick to Mr. Krackhaus Brews.
Mr. Krackhaus Brews himself with a Krackhaus brew. Now, because of the nature of this challenge we're going to be doing later, I'm not allowed to know what kind of beer this is yet, so I'm just gonna have a sip. Definitely good enough for an interview. Now, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about your little garage setup brewery that you've managed to kind of pull out of thin air, and it's really impressed me, and I kind of wanted to share it with all you guys out there. So, I want to ask you a couple questions about what you do and why you did it. So, first off, a lot of people come over here to China, especially foreigners, and they get into the teaching or education game, and a lot of my subscribers are interested in that topic. But what made you decide to kind of push away from that and do something else instead of going home after your teaching gig?
Well, first I came to China to try to find a little bit of adventure. In the beginning, I found all the adventure I wanted, but it started to get dull. The job, it pays the bills, it's fine, the salary's okay. I mean, you pick up part-time here and there and you make up the money situation. But I don't want to be stuck doing part-time or teaching for the rest of my life. I mean, I like teaching, I like the students, don't get me wrong, but you can't retire in China as a teacher. It's just not feasible. So it's not really my exit strategy, but I feel that I have to evolve myself.
Okay, great. For the second question, I was a little bit curious as to why you decided, this is the business venture you chose, why did you decide to get into beer? I've known you for a while, and I didn't know you were super into beer.
It's not that I'm super into beer. With a bit of research, I've always been kind of chasing that entrepreneurial dream in China. It's part of the reason I came over here. I tried different jobs. I mean, I've worked part-time with the teaching gig. Again, your hours are really flexible. You can try this and that. And it's fun, but it's not sustainable all the time. And I was just looking at different market sectors in China, and you see these spikes in certain areas. And one consistent area in China is alcohol. The same in the rest of the world. I mean, one thing that I'll always sell is entertainment and alcohol.
Okay, that's great. I sense a lot of action over from the audience right now. Excuse me. Okay, so now that you've decided to actually make your own beer, where are you sourcing your ingredients from? Are you like finding suppliers abroad, or are you actually getting them here domestically?
What has happened really? I found my first suppliers in China, and that's what I started using for my base beers. And I found out that the quality is just not there. I was having issues with a thinner beer. I wasn't getting the taste I wanted. And so I started talking to other brewers. There's a few brewers around in Guangdong. Great guys. Spoken with one guy particularly, and he introduced me into the whole brewing culture. And at first he called me Mr. Green.
Right.
Nice guy, right?
Yeah. Green for hops.
Yeah, green for hops. Not really, he was calling me green because I'm inexperienced, and he was laughing at me, but he did teach me a lot, and I've learned that through reading and everything that better ingredients make better beer. So I started looking for different distributors around the world and to see if they will ship it to me in China.
Papa John's has the same philosophy.
There you go.
Sorry, you said better
Never knew.
Anyway, I'm cutting. I got it.
And so basically I've got a few companies, and I've contacted them, and I've contacted dozens of companies, mostly distributors, asking them if they'll distribute to China, and a few of them ended up redirecting me to their Chinese offices. So I found Chinese offices in China.
Go ahead. Continuing ghost door.
All right, never mind. I fucked.
No, you're doing very well. You're doing great. Sit down. Don't ruin the shot. Don't ruin the shot. Continue.
So yeah, I found grain distributors in China. I found hop distributors in China. It's much more expensive to buy from them than to buy the locally sourced ingredients. But as you can tell, you've tried my first beer. It was okay, and they're just steadily getting better and better. Part of it is I've been learning along the way, and the other part is I'm just getting better malts.
Right. I mean, I can tell you, from the same perspective that when we first started building bikes, it was the same situation. Where working with a Chinese base, you'll never find the quality no matter what you work with. So you got to source your own stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right, Prazi, let's begin the competition.
All right, I'm gonna go easiest first, which is the left side. The problem is I've never had Pearl River before, but they all kind of look the same. I know this isn't Krackhaus's beer.
I can tell you Pearl River is worse than Qingdao, so keep that in mind. You know Qingdao very well.